Oh, introduction shit me.
Oh,
No end.
can you guys see me okay?
I can see you. You guys know we've been live for 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, no, we're slow. We're here. So this was supposed to be a Chuck Harder video, and we're going to talk about Chuck's uncanny knack for reading motorcycles. He can read a motorcycle like Barry Morris can read, if Barry Morris could read.
I am still struggling with literacy issues.
I think we all are.
I can't even read this, and nobody will explain it to me.
I think it says Bumby.
Bumby. That's what I thought.
Bumby. Anyway, just so everyone understands, if you're tuning in, Chuck Harder's not here because he's out being an everyday hero. We're in British Columbia, Canada. And if you haven't heard, it's sort of been big news around here. British Columbia is on fire. There's forest fires all over the place. We had one locally here 2 days ago, and we all jumped in our trucks and were fighting fires. And there's another one. Okay, so all right. So you're saying no one's here yet? Anyway, we're going to explain this again too later. Anyway, there's another one today, and Chuck is out fighting fires again, so he couldn't show up. Oh, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Halifax.
So Chuck can't be here. He's literally being a hero, fighting fires. So we brought in Megs Brap at the last minute, Mr. Barry Morris, all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Megs, where are you? I don't even know where you are. Oh no, yes I do, because I recognize your living room.
Yeah,
I think she's in Japan.
Yeah,
She looks very
I'm
Japanese.
still in Japan. No, I'm in
He's a
Idaho
girl.
still.
Yeah, a paper building. Yeah, so Barry and Megs were kind enough to join me for some shenanigans. And we don't really have a topic, but we're going to talk about dirt bikes probably.
Probably.
Barry's still recovering from his burns. I see you've changed up the... Oh, you got a burn when they locked you in the vault as you were trying to make your escape?
Well, look, yeah, I've already had a few people say I'm out to rob a bank, but this is actually... I had a bit of an issue with trying to light my gas stove during the week, so I'm just recovering some third-degree burns.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got to fund that channel somehow.
Yeah. Hey, Breton!
Yeah. All content creators have resorted to robbery and thievery.
I don't blame them.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Aren't you sitting on a sack of cash over there?
Yeah, tons of it. It's everywhere. I actually roll in it at night.
Yeah, same here. Bathtubs full of cash.
Yeah.
Hey, Megs, look at this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Represent.
Support. Oh yeah, I like it. Cool. So what are we going to talk? I guess a good thing to talk about is what we're going to talk about with Chuck, and we'll get our opinions of this situation. So what I talked to Chuck about was that after, thousands or tens of thousands of hours of being around dirt bikes and talking about dirt bikes, because that's the other thing I realized this week, like when you're a layperson, and by layperson I mean not in the industry like us cool kids, it's like you think about dirt bikes and talk about dirt bikes and dream about dirt bikes all the time when you're not working. But the three of us have been like immersed in dirt bikes for a long time. So we're like ahead of everyone in the amount of conversations and looking at dirt bikes and talking about dirt bikes. And that translates into when you look at a dirt bike, you look at all the bolt-on bling, and you look at the risers or no risers or this or that or the tires they're running, or like you instantly just sum up that bike really fast. And then you also make a judgment call on the rider themselves. So Megs, we'll start with you. What do you think? Like, do you have the ability to look at a motorcycle and like instantly judge the rider for better or for worse?
Definitely. I'm not saying I do judge the rider, but I definitely
form an opinion.
Definitely look at a bike and tell what kind of riding they do and maybe what level ish they ride at. I mean, there are exceptions, but yeah, you can definitely, even just by looking at their tires, just simply how the tires are wearing, not how much, but how they're wearing tells me what kind of a rider they are.
And you don't mean by like, oh, it's a DS 350 or a DR 350, or you don't mean the model of the bike. You mean like the details, like the second and third layer details.
The setup, the setup, and maybe like what gadgets and gizmos they're using. A lot of that will tell me a lot. It's like a book.
Yeah.
So you can read.
I can read. Like most of the E-Ride crew can't, but that's why I'm part of the group, because I need to read for the rest of you guys.
We can barely navigate life without you around.
I know. I'm the best, right?
Yeah. It's red and is an octagon. It means stop, right?
Yeah.
So Barry, what about you? Give me your impression. Can you read a bike like a book? If you could read.
Oh, look, I don't know. Because sometimes you can see a battered bike and it's because somebody just crashes so often because one, they're just too gung-ho. They just throw themselves in at things without thinking. Or just simply they haven't got the skills yet, and so they're crashing a lot. But then I do compare it to a few guys I know who are incredibly talented riders, but they're just pushing the envelope so hard. Their bikes look like absolute shit. And we even did a video recently about that, Ben the Brutal Beater, which doesn't work so well in Canadian because that's the brutal beta. Anyway, however you guys pronounce that shit. Yeah, and Ben's bike is an absolute mess because he is always just pushing the absolute limit. So, yeah, I find it hard to tell. I always think I need to see them ride.
But so, Barry, what about like, not necessarily like how worn out or not worn out their bike is, but like what they're riding, what model maybe, what they've got bolted onto it, or maybe like that sort of thing?
You mean in terms of bling?
Yeah, like their setup.
Yeah. Certainly when I see people with lots of, oh God, Dallas, please.
Oh, sorry. My British dental.
I'm overwhelmed by your just brute Canadian macho handsomeness.
Lumbersexual, buddy.
I am a lumbersack. Anyway, yeah, look, certainly when I see guys totally blinged out, lots of shiny bits, I do start to think, you've opted for bling instead of learning to ride well. But even then, sometimes I'm caught out. Yeah, I guess over the years, I've just not trusted my initial judgment. And I always just wait to see them ride.
Yeah.
And even then when I see them ride, I don't know. Dallas, I don't know if you remember that time we were at what was the 500, the Canadian 500 race?
Mexican 500.
Mexican 500. Initially, the tracks are flowing and open and these guys are just going mental. And I'm there thinking, bloody hell, Canadian riders are fast and good. But then the moment they hit a series of logs, it was like lawn bowls, the skittles going everywhere. And you and I were just there going, what the hell is happening here? And so even when I look at people riding, I'm not sure, because they can look so incredibly fast and talented, but then they get to a log this high that's wet, and whoom, all these guys are wiped out. They're not getting up hills because they don't know how to weight the rear wheel. So yeah, I don't know. I've just been wrong so often. That's a very long way to say I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I'm wrong more than I'm right. But I do form an opinion, and I'm not judging the rider because I don't even know who they are half the time. But I do form an opinion based on the motorcycle, and I think because I'm thinking back to all the different places that I've lived and all the different places we've ridden for not just our ride, but like we're there for a month at a time. And one example is Quebec. So, Barry, you have not been to Quebec yet, but we will be in the future for sure. But in Ontario, because I lived there for almost 10 years, and everyone in Ontario was like, never buy a motorcycle from someone in Quebec. Now, the main reason is because Quebec is, well, what are you talking about? We were at Woods Runners. You have to Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I was thinking of like lower Quebec. We were in Gaspé for a month or 6 weeks. And anyway, so it's rock. So it's not that the Quebec riders beat their bikes up more than anybody else, but they do ride hard, A, and then B, because it's all rock, man, like 2 or 3 seasons in that rock and your bike tumbling down these rock hills and tumbling up the rock hills and ghosting up the rock hills. It's just, they look like hell. But it's,
well, I can remember
it's just
how
the
you
terrain.
looked after a few Canadian whiskies and you'd go for a bit of a roll down the rocks. This is without your bike. And you looked so beaten up, man. It was terrible.
Well, that guy just kept catching my toe on the rocks. That Canadian maple syrup.
Yeah.
Meg's like,
so just
I know what goes on.
A quick shout out to the guys from Quebec. We have a few showing up.
Barry,
Yeah, I see
so
that.
embarrassing.
Someone did check in from Quebec, man, and yeah, we love Quebec. I forgot that we were there. That's how bad my memory is. We were there for a long time. We should do another Woods Runners, man. That was an incredible trip.
Oh, we should. That was amazing.
Megs, you would lose your mind.
I'm sure. I'm looking forward to checking it out eventually.
And Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia was my favorite.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
I don't think I've ever stopped daydreaming about going back there. I loved it. And New Brunswick.
Yep. Yeah. I hear you, man. It's the Maritimes is super awesome. And that's Barry, I should say that's one place you haven't been, but Barry, we were in New Brunswick, remember?
Yeah.
We left Woods Runners and we went into northern New Brunswick and we did a clinic there and they were going to take us down Murder Hill and Widowmaker and like we ran screaming.
I remember because I was trying to do my coaching in French, which lasted about 15 seconds, I think, before they started throwing stones at me.
Yeah.
You do not want to hear an Australian trying Quebecois French. It's pretty upsetting.
Megs, when we were there, because we were with, do you remember Carmen?
Yep.
Right. So Barry and I had Carmen in the truck. And, we were in all kinds of madness. Anyway, we picked up a hitchhiker thinking they were Quebecois. He gets in the truck and he starts speaking French. And we're like, oh, and Barry's trying to speak French too. And I'm trying to speak French to him. And then he explains in terrible English that he's from France. He's not even actually Quebecois. And we were super disappointed. Like we were going to throw him out. He was like 17 or something with a backpack. Anyway, we had a lot of fun with that kid.
And of course, I'm there saying, bonjour, monsieur. And he was just cringing. And that was my best Parisien français. Anyway.
The beautiful thing is Megs is bilingual. Remember, Barry? She can speak the français.
Yeah.
She won't, though. She's shy.
Wait
till you get to Quebec.
I've actually been secretly practicing because a lot of my followers are French, and I've been communicating with them in my DMs in French.
In written?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I can't
Yeah,
wait. Like, we'll have to do a Quebec thing for sure, just because it was so fun.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could even do the rest of this in French, Megs. Qu'est-ce que fais-tu aujourd'hui?
I'm not speaking French in a live video in front of 35 people.
No way. Come on. There's not 35 people here.
There's 35
That
people
many?
watching.
Oh, no. Okay, so I'm getting prompted to explain where Chuck Harder is. So you guys who tuned in are probably wondering where Chuck, what's going on. We're getting the bait and switch. We're expecting intelligence and suave of Chuck Harder. Instead, we're getting a bad bank robber and Megs and myself. There's forest fires in British Columbia, and Chuck Harder is literally fighting fires right now. He's about 10 minutes from here. There's a forest fire, and Chuck's part of the volunteer fire department here, and he is out literally fighting a fire 10 minutes from here, trying to save our single track. And then on Friday and Saturday, the other side of the valley was on fire across from HQ, and we were over there. I actually was part of that effort, and I think we have a very short video.
That was short.
This is my job here, just going back and forth with my truck, and we're filling up all the. There's a part of the burn that you can see, but it's way over the hill. All the crews and stuff are over the hill. Anyway, this is the lands and forests, or forestry, whatever we call them, Wildfires, BC. We're just filling up the big reservoir so they can draw from it. Everyone's helping out. It's pretty active. Yeah. Anyway, that was yesterday, and although there's no like flames burning and smoke and all the craziness, that was all going on further away. We were just supporting the cool kids. All the cool kids are like front and center with the fire, and then all the like kids who want to be cool are supporting the cool kids. So that's what I was doing, and then Chuck was in the mix.
Yeah.
Is at mile marker 4 on the road, the dump road, and I got here, and these guys were already here, but this just picked up right now. It's getting up this tree, so he's getting probably gonna knock that down. And there's girls here with a truck. They're going to get some water at the creek, so everything's good. Well, we think everything. Mile marker 4 on the Paul Lake Dump Road, and it looks like it's caught in this open clear cut area, and it's burning in several spots all along this corridor. But the fire service dudes are here, and I believe they got some water. They got the water truck right here, but I think they're just assessing it, trying to figure out what's going on, and go from there. But they all look very calm and relaxed, so I'm calm and relaxed, especially since the wind is going away from our property. Yeah, anyway, those are videos from some of the fire stuff, and it's pretty cool being around it. It's like, it's not good because the forest is burning down, of course, but it's neat seeing it because I'm not from British Columbia, and I hear about wildfires all the time, and it's a lot of people contribute to keeping those keeping the forest from burning down.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where Chucky Baby is. So
Dallas, I was just wondering, with your question, and a few people may have missed this, we might get you to run your question again. I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on it. You've asked Megs and me. What do you think?
Oh yeah, so the question was simply, because when you're around dirt bikes for a long time, you have a lot of experience, you start to be able to read people's motorcycles like you could read a book, in the sense that you know what certain types of scratches on the swing arm mean. you can read a skid plate like, oh, they either ride or they don't ride, or they ride in rock, or they must not ride in rock, or they just don't ride, one of the two. But like there's all these tells on a dirt bike that you start to read. I'm not judging them because like I said before, I don't know the person, but I do form an opinion about that motorcycle and sort of what they're doing. So I mean, the make, the model, is what the handlebar setup looks like. Like if it's jacked up to your ears. Is it a dual sport bike mostly? Megs was right. Tires is a big indication. Like, is it 50/50s? Is it like a hard compound? What's the wear look like? Because we've all seen those ones where it's like absolutely like a slick in the middle, and then like there's like these little knobs sticking out on the sides.
Yeah, the side knobs are perfectly intact because it's never cornered in its life.
Yeah. You see it on street bikes, but you see it on dirt bikes. And
right. Not that it matters. To each their own. It's just another. Yeah. It's another way to notice what kind of riding someone's doing.
Yeah. Like Bertha always ends up with like that slick strip in the middle, and like with all her knobs sticking out to the side, because like Bertha doesn't get a whole lot of off-road use. Yeah. But it's not her fault. That's she's not supposed to, really. She's supposed to be a dual sport bike, which she sort of is. She's the scooter of the property. Yeah. So I don't know. I can read it. Oh, I have a story. I have one story. I probably have more than one, but I'll tell this one. Chuck and I were late for the loose screw. Megs knows about the loose screw. Barry, you've heard about it. It's an amazing ride in the interior of British Columbia. And we were late, so we were just booking, and our whole like thrill was like, oh, we're gonna chase these guys, and we're gonna catch up to the whole pack, because we were like an hour and a half late, and we thought we could like pass everyone, which we ended up not doing. But at lunch, we started catching up with people, and I saw this guy at the gas pumps filling his bike up, and he was like climbed out head to toe, like, not a speck of mud on him. Yeah, he had product placement. Product placement. Tell us about that cool product. Anyway, he was spotless, man. He had white boots on, and there's a whole thing we can talk about people with white boots. But he had white boots on, and there was not a speck of mud on his bike, his boots, or his gear. And I couldn't stop staring at him. And Chuck's like, yo, stop staring at that guy. And I'm like, I can't stop staring at him. He's spotless. So you guys know me. So I had to go over. So I like meander over like a freakishly freak. And I'm like, hey, and he's all weirded out. And I'm like, oh, you guys must have just got here, did you? Like, you didn't ride the morning. Like, you must have just unloaded. And he's like, no, we rode the morning. And I'm like, how could this be possible in my mind? That like, then I look at his boots, I'm just staring at his perfectly white boots. So we leave, and they catch up to us, and I think that he's lying to me. I can't think of another reason. Anyway, he gets in behind me, and I'm just like, oh shit, this guy's right up my ass. So I'm just like, I'm trying to like act like I'm cool, and I'm not cool at all, as you guys know. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And like, he's right on my butt, man. Like, I hear and it's barely even idling the whole time. And I'm like, okay, this is so effed up. I have to pull over. So I pull over, and he goes zoom, and he just like ribbons by me with flow. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to follow him to see. And I 3 corners, and he was gone. And he was flowing, and his feet never touched. And then we caught up to him later. There was not a speck of mud on, and it's like, I'm filthy. And there's not a speck of mud on his boots, his gear, or his bike. And I'm just like, how could this be? So it's like, I was so wrong. Yeah. Mint bike, mint boots, mint gear, and like unbelievable riding. That was the difference.
I love it when you can be surprised like that, because it's almost as if when you look at the best riders, they can vary from just being immaculately decked out, and you just think, oh, this is a brand new rider who has just spent $30,000 trying to look the part, as I think our viewer Sandy said earlier. And yet then you can flip over to the guy wearing dungarees and old safety boots, work boots and gardening gloves, and they're phenomenally fast. You know, they've probably been pro level for 20 years, 30 years. And it's one of the things I love about the sport. You can be so surprised, and it can be hard initially to tell till you see them ride, maybe. Yeah. Although I would agree that if you really know what to look for, you can get a lot of indications from looking at the bike. You know, how those tyres have worn, what the skid plate looks like.
That guy had me 100% fooled, like at all. Megs has the opposite story. What's your buddy's name? Oh, Hippie.
Oh.
Hippie's the opposite.
Yeah, so for me, looking at Hippie, when I met him, I didn't have an opinion because I was still so new to riding. But I met this man in the woods, and he told me he didn't know where he was and he needed help making it back to the pits. And I was just like, yeah, sure. And I was all excited. I'm going to show this man how fast I am in the trails. And yeah, so we get going and we get into the single track, and he's following me and he's buzzing my back tire. I'm like, gosh, this is weird, but okay. He's like literally buzzing my back tire, and I'm riding, and then we stop because I'm probably worn out, and he looks me in the eyes and he's like, you ride lazy, eh? And I was like, I had been trying so hard. I was like shredding the gnar, in my opinion. And this man was in a hoodie and pajama pants and like some really worn out MX boots and a big plastic chest protector that looked like it was from the 80s. And you know, like he had like a joint in his mouth or something. Like it was ridiculous. And long hair, longer than mine. And yet he was so fast, and he started teaching me how to ride. Like I came back to his camp the next day, and then the next weekend, and he started kind of training me. And he used to race Masters. He was an amazing rider. He still is. But he used to race the Masters class on like old Can-Ams and stuff. And anyone looking at him normally would be like, oh God, this guy sucks.
There's a guy like that in Ontario, and he's legendary in the racing there. His name is Lance Matthews, and the same thing as Hippie. Shows up a radial bike and like hockey gear, and then like starts kicking everyone's ass in the pro class on their brand new shiny bikes. And he's just legendary for that very reason, because you look at him, and if you didn't know, you'd be like, what? And then just slaughter.
Yeah.
What?
That music was lit. Who chose the music? Yeah. That was sick.
Yeah, that was Anthony. I think that might have been Anthony playing it.
Dang.
Yeah. Very groovy. Yeah, man. We were.
I want to hear him sing. Come on, Anthony. Show your face. Sing.
Anthony is the man. He's like puppet strings, and he's just controlling the three of us. What to say, how to say it.
We all have a script.
Maybe.
What's that?
I'd like to see him do some Bee Gees, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, Bee Gees.
When you get down the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, now it's time to talk. Something like that, maybe.
That's John Travolta.
With the balaclava and the lips, like I think I'm gonna have nightmares.
That's what Barry says when he walks into the bank. You can tell by the way I use my walk.
Oh, people are never gonna tune into this again.
I don't believe.
That's the plan. Hey guys, could I just do a very quick shout out to Rave Daddy, who commented earlier about his white O'Neill boots. He's a guy who's been following my videos for a long time. I just wanted to say, if you're wearing white O'Neills, sorry, I'm banning you from the channel. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, ban them now. Ban O'Neills. That's all they can get over in Thailand. That might be like those are the CDs of Thailand, O'Neills. Yeah.
Expats in Thailand, seriously.
The Foxes are the Garniers. Barry, correct my pronunciation on that brand.
Garni. And you have to use your hands a lot, you know. Garni.
We could spend the whole hour listening to Barry pronounce Garnier. Garnier.
My shit pronunciation for every brand on earth. Bloody hell.
He goes from his fake Canadian accent to like hardcore Italian every time he says that next time. He says Garnier at Costco.
Oh, God. Do we even have a topic today?
The hot dog stand.
We should open up the comments for people to leave bike maintenance topics that when Chuck Harder gets back, he can go over some things that people are really interested in.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because certainly nobody here can keep us on track.
I know. It's giving me anxiety. I'm part of it.
Be part of the problem, not the solution, Megs. Okay, let's pick something. Why doesn't whoever's in the comments, they suggest what we talk about, and then we'll talk about that topic.
Bike related. We don't want to talk about because I can only imagine.
Here's an excellent question by the Pumpkin Patch. I was wondering how you balance between dual sport and single track. Oh, Tim McLeod's online. Keep reading.
Tim.
Okay, so here's the question. I was wondering how you balance between dual sport and single track. That's a good question. Whoever wants to go ahead, tackle that.
So for me, I've never really done any dual sporting, but I definitely understand the struggle of, maybe wanting to get a bike that's good for both, but that's kind of hard. If you want to do two different types of riding, you're most likely going to end up with a setup that's kind of like okay, but not the best at both. Right? Like it's really hard to have a great dual sport bike that's also really great in the single track. And that's kind of what's kept me just to one thing, because you need two machines. I
feel I can get away with like for me and Barry, you may be able to agree with this, maybe. For me, because I'm so ginormous and so terrible in single track, I can ride a KTM 500 in both, and it does both pretty good for me, because mostly because I'm humongous and also terrible.
I suppose it depends on the level of the single track too. Like I guess I'm picturing like boulder fields and stuff, and I guess there are definitely different levels of single track where. Even I guess a 350 4-stroke could be pretty cool. Wouldn't be very fast on the street, but it would be decently good in the single track and still a fun bike on the road.
I will have to say, I would ghost a KTM 500 right into the boulder field with no questions asked. You wouldn't be within 100 feet of a boulder field. No, I would. I just launch it.
From 100 feet away, maybe.
Yeah, and then I'd walk over and try to pick it up. So sorry, Barry. You talk because I'm just talking shite.
Okay, yeah. Let's get serious for a moment here. Adam Butler's underwear. Joel Roby has brought up a very good point. Adam Butler is possibly one of the sexiest men alive who has showed up at Traction ERAG events reliably, sometimes without even the underpants. So Joel has asked, what has been the effect of Adam Butler's undergarments on our nightmares? Mine have been significantly improved. The overall quality of the nightmares has been enhanced. Della, what would you say?
I've gone from nightmares, and he's transitioned them single-handedly, tighty whities, to dreams. If you guys don't know, and Megs is disgusted. She's like horrified.
This is not dirt bike related.
Well, it sort of is, because
I was told this would be dirt bikes.
let me explain who Adam Butler is. He is a long-term client of ours that showed up on one of our very first rides and trusted us to treat him badly, and we did. You know Adam very well, Megs.
And the underwear is important, Megs, because you know when you're on your bike and you're going backwards and forwards, you don't want your underwear bunching up. It can significantly affect your performance on the bike.
I could say things, but I'm not going to, because God only knows who's watching, and my reputation is on the line.
True. Very smart move.
There was an earlier comment too about ribbed seats, but I don't think we'll go into that either.
Yeah, anyway, to get back to Adam. No, he's, yeah, anyway. Adam's underwear have been heavily involved in a lot of the trips.
So for anyone who's watching that hasn't been on a trip, like Grisbait, Outlaw Run, any of that, you can look forward to having your underwear involved in some way, shape, or form if you sign up. We wonder why no one signs up for these things, but just kidding.
Anyone who's watched this live will not show up, which is a smart choice on your part.
Why do these events sell out so quickly? It's just a bunch of weirdos that.
Well, I can answer that seriously, or I'll try. I think it's because we have fun first. And not and classy fun. Yeah. I can't put my fingers together. Classy fun. There you go, Barry. Yeah. But Megs, you've been on lots of trips. Like we have a lot of fun, and we ride dirt bikes a lot. But it's just not. It's like we remove the competition portion of dirt bikes. Like we just remove that. And I think the other thing that we remove is all the corporate mambo jambo that they try to shove down our throats all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, go ahead, Barry.
Well, that's a really good point with the fun, and I'd like to ask Megs about this, because I know with my channel, the general feel I want to get with the vids is what we experience when we ride, and that is a bunch of idiots trying desperately to ride better and learn something, but most of all, just having fun. We laugh a lot, we carry on, we hang shit on each other, and yet at the same time, we're trying to learn. And very occasionally we'll be serious, you know, maybe for about 1 out of 2 rides every year. And so the videos try and reflect that, and some guys get upset and just are going, what the fuck? You know, can't you be serious? And I was just wondering, Megs, do you get that as well? I have no issue with people being serious, but there just seems to be a certain number of people who don't actually appreciate you can have a lot of fun when you're riding. And maybe if you're not competing, that's the biggest thing. What do you think?
On my channel or on like at the events?
I'd say both, everything, just overall, your social media, competing, riding recreationally.
So we have different styles, and I think my audience is pretty used to me being pretty serious in ways, just because my channel is really geared towards learning. on YouTube. I love to post the tutorials and stuff, and I am pretty serious. Like, you know me, I love building my skill set and sharing that. So my videos are a lot more serious than yours, and that's why I don't give you footage anymore in your videos. But when I get out with a group, it really is all about fun, and that's one thing I cherish so much about like my Grisbait experiences and the Outlaw Run. It's just a bunch of people, all different ages, size, shape, whatever. Everyone's totally different, but we all share the same love and for dirt bikes, and just have so much fun, so much laughing, and like the tutu ceremonies and everything. It's just too good, way too much fun.
My overview comment on Megs would be, in our group, Megs, you're definitely like the most, like if the spectrum is from competitive on one side and fast and aggressive, and then the other side would be, you know, fun and silly and terrible. You know, you're the farthest in the group toward that competitive, aggressive, fast, like for sure. Like, you know, you're faster and more aggressive and more intense than all of us. But I love the balance that you bring, and then like, you know, all the silly shenanigans on the other side.
Right. Yep. I guess I just love working on my skills, and it's in some way, shape, or form, it's always about learning something new. Although I do love just going out and having a good time.
Yeah, I think that's why you fit in, is because you, in your heart and soul, you love having fun and good time. But I think also that you push us super hard. Like, you know, you're the first one to cut the Megatron track, and you're like, let's go, we're timing everyone. We're like, ah! And then it like degrades. Go ahead.
But it's not about timing everyone to make everyone compete. It's about timing that person so that they can beat their time and improve.
Oh, for sure, without question. It's like you create a benchmark on day one of like sort of where we all are in the Megatron track, and then all week, all everyone does is ride around the Megatron track, and at the end, it's like everyone's completely different in where they were on the front.
Well,
we'll be right back after this message from our sponsor.
Oh, sorry.
That is bananas, man. Hey, anyone who's listening to Anthony,
what?
You gotta root me from behind.
Isn't that unbelievable? Oh, man. Anyway, thank you, Anthony, for that.
Before we get on to a new topic, can we talk about the shape that I cut the Megatron track into? Like when the track was all said and done, what did it look like? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, but there's two things. There's like what did it actually look like, and what was it supposed to look like?
Well, okay. Well, what was it supposed to look like?
Barry, go ahead. Say the.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Say the word.
Oh, bloody hell. Megs, I run a very serious YouTube channel. I don't want to get caught out saying your track was meant to look like a big penis. And look, all I can say is I found it very offensive, and I think that, to be fair, the next one should look like a big vagina with fallopian tubes. You know, the little, you get some really good burns in the fallopian tubes.
Honestly, I had so much trouble making it in the shape it was, and it didn't work out. I can't imagine doing something any more like in depth.
I have a plan. You need a GPS track of a penis, and then follow the GPS.
Yeah.
And that might be helpful. We should all get involved in cutting the penis next time.
Yeah, we'll need more people, and we'll need more technology.
Chainsaws, saws.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know if I'm getting a bit personal, Megs, but I do think you did a good job because it really looked like my penis. And because it was very small and it was just weirdly shaped, and it took a long time to get anywhere on the track.
The slow guys were doing a 27-second lap time.
Yeah. I mean, and really, most guys did describe it as short and curly, the track. So I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It was all downhill. Anyway, we'll have to do that again because we'll do a grass track next time. And what we'll do is we'll make the grass track the penile section.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then back into the woods, and then back on the grass track. Anyway,
the wooded area will be super gnarly. It'll have all the tight turns and all the technical stuff, and then you get out into the field, and that's when you get to open it up.
Yeah. Meg, I wonder if though we should have no corners at all, because Infidel Matt, a well-known traction E-rag reprobate, has just commented saying, hang on, where have you gone?
Warren Thaxter's on here. Warren Thaxter's actually on the chat.
Everyone's showing up. But Infidel Matt did have trouble on your penis-shaped track and was crashing on all the corners. So I think we should have a special track that's just like a long straight for Infidel Matt next time.
Like just a big oval?
Even that's probably getting too risky, I think.
So it's not going to loop. It's just going to be finish line or starting line.
A drag strip. Just straight.
Why is it so hard?
I know. Everything's reversed. That's why I was like,
everything's reversed.
Touch your nose. Touch your nose.
I promise none of us have been drinking or anything.
No, definitely
it
not.
seems like we have been. What is that?
Oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah, these comments are getting out of control.
When does this go live? When does this go live?
I think it's live in another 8 minutes, so we're still good. We can keep a lid on it until then. We'll have to get very serious. Yeah. So we have roughly 10 minutes left. What do you guys want to talk about? Dirt bike topic.
Are you asking in the comments or asking Barry and I?
I'm reaching out to anyone who will say something.
I got nothing.
Oh boy. Definitely don't look at the comments.
Can we talk about that time I got somebody's thong stuck in my sprocket and chain?
They're what?
So, I got somebody's sparkly green moto thong stuck in my chain and sprocket to the point where I had to separate my chain, take apart the master link, and take everything apart to get my bike moving again.
A thong?
Is that a true story?
Yeah, somebody left their thong, their underwear, on the sand track.
Oh, that was Adam Butler, I bet you.
No, that was Joel.
Joel's thong. Right. That makes sense. True. Green because he's like from Boston. And so that wrapped around your sprocket?
Yeah, it got up in my chain and sprocket to the point where my tire was completely locked up, and I could not get it out. I had to take apart my chain.
That sounds like a British Columbia situation.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get at the sand track, so watch out for people's ginch.
Ginch.
Yeah.
That's a BC word.
Is
Ginch.
it?
I don't know what a ginch is.
Generally it's like a pair of like greasy briefs with the elastic that's all worn out.
Yeah.
I thought
Barry's
everyone
ginch
knew.
were all over the RV.
I thought it was a kids' movie, a Christmas movie or something. The
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
Inn.
Oh, KLR.
How the
Murder
Ginch
Site.
stole Christmas.
We have a comment. May I
Woo.
speak about Utah?
Yeah, go ahead.
I will be quick. But Utah, my experience in Utah recently was in St. George. And so that is, I believe, southern
South.
Utah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
And-
southwest.
Yep. And I got to ride it with Tyler from Everride. I'm sure a lot of you probably follow his channel. He's pretty awesome. And it was amazing. He took us to this area that had the red slick rock, classic Utah. And then you go 10 minutes up like a sandy trail. And then you have these beautiful bright orange sand dunes, like the rolling dunes so tall that all you see is orange and then pure blue sky. And so we spent a day in that stuff, and it was amazing. It was part of one of his rallies, so there was a big group of us, and we all had mics and like in our helmets, and it was the most fun I've ever had on two wheels in a long time. It was really cool. So that was my introduction to St. George, and then we did more rides. We spent some time on this creek trail with like 40 creek crossings, and yeah, it was amazing. It was a good time. Thanks for asking.
I love that area because I feel, and I haven't been to Moab, which is crazy, but I feel like St. George is better than Moab because it's not crowded. It's like really like, it seems really down to earth and really like quiet and small town and no crowd or anything. Like it's barren and like it's low population. You rarely see anyone on the trails.
Yeah, we didn't see anyone out on the trails, I don't think.
Right.
Really. It wasn't like a touristy scene at all. It was just out in the middle of nowhere, even though St. George, the town, is right there and it has everything you need. But as soon as you get out on the bikes, it's just go and never see any people.
Yeah.
That's where we used to stage our Parch Canucks trip out of, is St. George. It's like 2 hours north of Las Vegas, so everyone would fly into Las Vegas, and then we would like just all in that area, and it was just incredible, man. Like no one there. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyway, no
So
doubt
much
we'll
fun.
be down to see Tyler.
Yeah.
Cool. We're getting close. So 5 minutes.
Can I do a quick shout out?
Yeah, man.
We've just had a comment from Davin Jones. He was our exceptional drone pilot for the Grisbait event in Canada. If you've watched any of our riding in the alpine areas up near the Alaskan border, thumbs up, Davin. That was amazing drone footage, mate. Hope to get you back someday.
Davin, we were just talking about you earlier because we were just laughing at how you and Barry were smoking Thai cigarettes and drinking Canadian whiskey bowls. Barry's like, oh, let me put a mask on my face. Oh, you already have one on.
I'll do this too. I only smoke on holidays. Honestly, I am healthy 99% of the time.
Yeah, those were special imports, and yeah, you have to drink Canadian whiskey when you're on Canadian soil. So you're excused.
I should say some of those trips are amazing, and What I particularly liked is that we often did the clinics as well in the morning. So it wasn't just pure scenic riding. We'd be doing clinics, training in the morning in a spectacular setting. Then we'd go out and actually apply it, but enjoy these phenomenal views as well. Oh, and speaking of which, the clinics are still running, Dallas, aren't they? Even with bushfires and COVID. I think you've got a sort of burning virus special on summer training at the moment.
Yeah, we're being very careful as we add stuff to the schedule, just because, you know, COVID is still touchy. We're just recovering from that. Plus, it's fire season here in BC. So yeah, we have a few things on the schedule for August. That was making me think. I think a fun hour for the three of us, we should talk about training and clinics and what we've seen, and like some of the growth and development that we've seen. Not only like in one day, because, you know, we all see that, like we see people coming in, you know, like little ducklings in the morning and coming out like, bah, I'm turned into a beast at the end of the day. But also, like, you know, the people that are like repeat training customers and like people that we've known for a while that really took off. Like we all have so many stories of those things. And I think it's worthwhile talking about, simply because dirt biking seems to be a sport where it's not organized like hockey, Canadian, or like baseball or football. Or what do you guys play in Australia? Cricket? Football. Oh yeah, but that's soccer. Anyway, like, you know, those things are all about practice and skill development and all those things. And then no one seems to do that on dirt bikes, but man, oh man, it makes such a big difference. So I think that would be a fun topic. We could all, I can think of a million stories already that sort of illustrate lots of cool points.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, let's, why don't we wrap it up? Thanks for coming and filling in for Chuck Harder.
Pleasure.
Yeah, no, it was a fun, silly hour. That was pretty unscripted.
Yeah, that was. Hopefully, it
was
somewhat
E-rag
entertaining.
style. Yeah, E-rag style chaos. But fun. Anyway, thanks if you've tuned in. Thanks so much. We're going to try to do more of these. We really enjoy them, and we love interacting with everyone, and we get lots of feedback. Some of it positive even. So just a little bit, yeah. But you know, we you give us one little amount of positive feedback, and we'll just continue to do this badly. Meg's like, kill me now.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for commenting. Looking forward to watching this back and see everything you said, and we'll catch you next time, I guess.
Bye.